Welcome back, my bird experts. This morning in our morning message, I told you guys that we were going to start learning about how we can help take care of birds. And that's exactly what we're doing today. I reached in my mailbox and I had this letter from a surprise person and I wanted to share it with you guys. I hope you guys will be clicking on your listening ears to help me read this letter, okay? So everybody quiet down so that we can read the letter together. Let's get started. So I blew up our letter so that we can see it better, okay? So let's see. It says, "Dear students, I heard about your great work learning about birds. You have learned a lot about birds so far. I also like to learn about birds. That is why I became an ornithologist." That's a big word. In my work, we study how birds look, what they eat, and even how they act. Sometimes people ask me, why should we care about birds? I tell them there are many reasons to care about birds. One reason to care about birds is because sometimes birds get into trouble just like us. They need help. I challenge you to read some books and ask yourself, how do characters in stories help care for birds? Birds are so interesting. I often reread stories to make sure I learned everything. Please join me in sticking up for birds and becoming a bird advocate. Your friend, the ornithologist. Wow, that was a lot. So we got this letter from an ornithologist. And what is an ornithologist? I know you're like, Miss Carter, I don't even know what that is, who that is, what they do. So, an ornithologist. Let's think about what the text says about an ornithologist. First, I see that some of these words are underlined. But when I look back at them, all of the words have some things that are in common. Some things that are similar or alike. And that is called the base word. All of these words are something we can do. And something we can do is called a verb, right? It's an action. It's something we can do. So I can be learning, I can have learned, or I can learn. Okay? They all start with that word learn. That's the root word. We changed the ending and put an ing or an ed, and sometimes we left it alone. But it means that they are all learning or have learned or are doing the action of learning something, okay? And what does it mean to learn? Learn. It means to get knowledge about a topic or experience. Well, what topic have we been learning about lately? Exactly, birds. So what do you think an ornithologist could be? Exactly. An ornithologist is a scientist who studies birds. Someone that's learning about birds. So you guys are my bird experts. You are my little scientist, my little ornithologist, okay? Now, our learning target for today is I can determine the meanings of unknown words to understand the meaning of a text. And we just did that. By looking at the words in this, it helps us figure out what an ornithologist does, okay? Now, there were some other clues in our sentence and some directions that the ornithologist gave us. He said that birds are so interesting. I often reread stories to make sure I learn everything. That's something that we've been doing a lot of, reading and rereading stories to make sure that we heard and we learned everything that we could learn about a bird. But what does it mean when he says reread? Right, read, we know that means to read the book. But reread means Re means to do it again. Re is a suffix. So when we put re at the beginning of a word, it means to do that word, which is read in our case, again. Read means read again. So birds are so interesting. I often read again or read stories again to make sure I learned everything. That's something else that an ornithologist does. Why do you think this ornithologist wrote this letter to us? Why do you think he sent us this letter? What does our text say? What does our letter say? It says, please join me in sticking up for birds and becoming a bird advocate. So what does he want us to do? Right, to stick up for birds. And how can we do that? By becoming a bird advocate. What's an advocate? An advocate is something or someone who speaks up for someone that can't do it for themselves. So you guys are now going to be advocates for birds. The birds can't speak up for themselves, so you guys are going to have to do it for us or for them. You're going to have to take up for them. Like if your friend was in trouble, you would take up for them. And some birds we've learned about and that we are going to learn about might be in trouble. So we've got to advocate for them or stick up for them. I'm going to show you some pictures later on in the day, and I want you guys to think and notice and wonder about these pictures. I'm not going to tell you where the pictures are from or what's happening in them. I want you to use your scientific eye and pay very close attention to the pictures and what's happening in the pictures, and just tell me some of your noticing and wonderings.